Hey, Lisa, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing so well. I am, again, for those who are listening today, I do apologize for the Facebook event. I could not understand why it kept updating every 30 seconds, every 10 seconds. It was getting kind of out of hand, and I went ahead and canceled that. So I'm hoping everybody still remembers that we have a show going today.
They do. I reposted it today, so everything's fine.
Yeah, I was talking with Felix. I'm like, there's so many guests we had on. Blackjack Mulligan, Bruno Sammartino, and many more. But we haven't had a show that's been followed this much. People want to listen to Kevin Von Erich because, I mean, he's just known. He's a legend.
He is. Has he called in yet? Is he there?
No, not yet.
Check your queue. Okay.
No, he's not. He's not in my queue at the moment, no. He should probably be calling in probably in the next couple of minutes, I'm sure.
He should. Yeah, I was texting Pam when he came on. I told her I guess he needs to press 1.
Yes,
correct?
to let them know that let my queue know that you want to speak to me, or so we can bring him on. Either way, he said it would come from a particular number. So if I see that number, I'll go ahead and bring it on.
It's either going to be. Hold on a second.
Yep. And you think about, Austin, thinking about a lot of the people that got their start there in WCCW, like you were saying, guys like Percy Pringle, Rick Rude, Kamala. I think even at one point, Sting, before he was Sting, I believe him and Warrior got their start in World Class many, many years ago.
Yeah, World Class was the mainstay for wrestling, professional wrestling in Texas and all over the United States of America. People watch that, all the time, and they traveled around, place to place and checked everybody out. And they had their one of the most famous arenas that they always broadcasted in the Sportatorium. Very well known place. It's the Von Erichs created a legacy like no other.
Absolutely, and definitely a good reason they got their respect, obviously, because they went out there and kicked some butt and had some. One manager in particular that comes to mind was Gary Hart that worked there in World Class.
Definitely.
A manager I truly feel does not get the true recognition he deserves in wrestling history. He's managed some of the best, but I don't know, he doesn't get the recognition I feel he deserves. But anywho, that's neither here nor there. But a lot of things going on for Mr. Von Erich. Definitely eager to hear what he's got to say about some of his upcoming projects and how he's doing today and so forth. But, Lisa, you still with us? Oh, I think she had to step away for a second.
With wrestling families, you have, the Harts, the Guerreros, and then you have
that's
the Von
another name. That's another family name that is synonymous with Texas as well, is that the Guerrero family. They created a legacy for themselves there in El Paso. And, of course, the Von Erichs created theirs in, I want to say it was Dallas, possibly Houston areas. That, of course, was a little bit before my time. And not to say that I haven't caught up on a lot of the matches that were done back then or even some of the promos that were cut back then. But definitely some fierce feuds that happened. Yes.
I just wanted to tell you that Kevin is calling in. Just check for the 808.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. And, I think at one point even, I have to think about that for a second, but I think even The Undertaker got his start there, had a match out there at one point. But
yes, that was under a different, I believe he was under a different name.
Wasn't it Mean Mark Callis?
No, that was for WCW.
That was WCW. Okay, yeah. So I'm not even.
He was under a mask, but I didn't mean to cut you guys off, but it looks like Mr. Von Erich's here on the line now, so let's go ahead and bring him on. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How are y'all? I'm sorry that we had a little mix-up, but we're out here in the mountains, and reception can be on and off, so it's. And then they have these war games out there too, and they jam the airwaves, so telephones aren't as dependable out here as we used to be.
We'll definitely make it with what we got. We're just honored to have you join us, and
no doubt.
And of course, thank you, Lisa, for helping set this up once again.
You're welcome.
We'll start off with a couple of things that we wanted to talk about. we were just mentioning a lot of the stars that got their start in world class many years back. Guys like Sting and the Ultimate Warrior, guys like Percy Pringle, and I actually spoke to Percy's son, and it is a possibility, if you're okay with that he actually may call in to say hello.
Called who? Say hello to
He may actually call into the show to say hello if you're okay with that.
Percy?
No, Percy's son.
I'm sorry, who again?
Percy Pringle's son?
Oh, his son. Yeah, I was going to say Percy passed away a while back, and so
no,
that'd be great.
He did.
Yeah,
he said. I talked to his son yesterday. He said he might actually, if he can make it, he'll definitely try to call in. Otherwise, he said to tell you hello, and he wishes you the very best.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we had a lot of the. In fact, every big name in wrestling did come through world class. I remember in the DVD, Michael Hayes said that no one went to Texas to further their career, and exactly the opposite is true. So many people wanted to come to Texas. My father was a real big draw in wrestling. In fact, being a son, I may be a little biased, but I think he was the greatest wrestler ever of all time, and he was an honorable, good man, and so Texas was hot. Everyone wanted to come in, and we had, the Undertaker was down there. We had Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, you name it, and Mick Foley. All of them have been down there. I don't recall Sting though.
Wasn't he as part of the Blade Runners, or was that a different company? That might have been for maybe Mid-South, maybe possibly Georgia Championship Wrestling. Because I could have remembered if it was the Blade Runners, him and Warrior down there. I know the Ultimate Warrior wrestled a little bit down there.
He was down there. We gave him a start, and he was Dingo Warrior with us.
That's what it was. Okay. Yeah. And it may not have been with Sting then.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I wrestled for everyone. I wrestled for McMahon and for WTBS and St. Louis out there on KGMB. No, KGMB's here in Hawaii. KTLA. Anyway,
one of those stations.
Yeah, it was a VHF station, but good hot wrestling at the Chase there in St. Louis, and there at the time there were 26 different wrestling territories, and all that changed. We'd have a National Wrestling Alliance meeting every year. My dad was president of the alliance for as many years as I can remember. He was always president, it seemed like, and a lot of people don't know this, but you'll hear the word kayfabe sometimes in wrestling, and people will say,
absolutely. And
it was a guarded secret for so long, but now everyone knows about it, and I can tell you the real story of kayfabe if you want it. I guarantee you that I am a historian as far as professional wrestling. It's been my life since I opened my eyes. Well, the thing is that back in the old days, when my dad was president, if some other alliance member wanted to talk to another wrestler or another promoter or something like that, then we'd get a phone call. And back in those days, remember when there was a long-distance operator, she would say, long distance calling for Mr. K. Fabian. And that meant for me to go in there to my dad's book, and I'd say, who's calling, please? And then they give the name of the person they want the phone number for. So I go in there to my dad's book, get the number out, and I say, I'm sorry, he's not here, but he can be reached at this number. And that's how we'd give the numbers to each other. And it was kind of the way it was shortened the phone company, I suppose, But that's how K. Fabian got started. K. Fabian is a name and was shortened to K-Fabe.
Very cool. And I actually wanted to ask, there was a question that we received on Facebook, and it regarded if the opportunity ever presented itself to induct Michael Hayes or in just the Freebirds in general, would you, and they asked you to do it, would you actually do it?
Would I do what now?
Would you, if the opportunity presented itself to have Michael Hayes go into the WWE Hall of Fame and the Freebirds, of course, and they asked you to induct him, would that be something that you would do? I
sure would. I'd be glad to. I'd say that there are a lot of wrestlers that I think are, just really impressed me as I was a kid, and I've got my Hall of Fame, and I guess everybody's got their own Hall of Fame. But in my book, I would say that the Freebirds definitely belong in there. I mean, let's face it.
Long overdue.
Yeah, I would say that the way to decide your weight in our business, your value, is how many people buy a ticket to watch you. That's what it boils down to. Do you put butts in seats? And that's really what it's all about. It's not about who your friends are or how you, hang around with the right guys and drink beer with the right guys or whatever. It's really about butts and seats, and that's if you keep that in mind, well then you can't go wrong. It is a business. What we do is a business. I know a lot of guys treat it like a hobby, maybe, but that's not right. You treat it like a business and devote all of your time to it. And you know what my dad used to say? You only get out of something what you put into it. And
amen to that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it comes back.
Actually, I'm going to turn the question over to Austin. He had a question for you as well, Mr. Von Erich. Go ahead, Austin.
Well, with you were actually talking about Michael Hayes. Well, Michael Hayes and the Freebirds. I mean, you have to talk about this. But Von Erich versus the Freebirds, definitely one of the, if not the greatest tag team rivalry in the history of professional wrestling. Do you think we will ever see anything like that in the future?
Well, yeah. As a matter of fact, I do. My two sons have been coming up in wrestling in Japan, though. I've been having them. I wanted them to have that kind of start rather than the way it's working right now, the way the wrestling seems to be. I wanted the boys to be comfortable in every situation that comes up. And so I've had them over in Japan. It's so Spartan over there. It's like it's just a few steps away from MMA. I mean, these guys are knocking each other's teeth out, and it's tough. It's really tough. But what a way to cut your teeth on it. This is the perfect way for the boys to come up. And they just happen to be gifted athletes. Ross was an excellent running back in Texas, and you know how Texas is with football. He was, I scored 3 touchdowns in the first quarter and hurt his knee. This is all the first quarter, and so that team, down 3 touchdowns, they come back and win the game. And that was for Denton Ryan and Ross's. They're always state champs in Texas, and so we came here for Ross's senior year. So Ross couldn't play his senior year there, but that was too bad. But Marshall has gone to junior high and then high school here, and gosh, he's been the state champion in the discus 2 years and all state in football 2 years and unanimous, and he's just a 6'5", 250, and flies like a bird. I mean, he's just really agile, and Ross is even more agile, but they're getting used to it, getting used to being in the crowd and all that, and being a dad, I'm worried about it, but gosh, I've never seen 2 more natural wrestlers in my life. They just took to it like a duck to water, and it's just beautiful to see. You remember that flip I do where I put my hands on the rope and I kind of flip down and come down on my feet as I'd come into the ring?
Yeah, come into the ring.
Yeah.
Well, I never saw anybody else do that. I mean, I'm sure they have. Someone else has, but it was hard. It's a hard thing to do. I remember I practiced 2 or 3 times. You really can't practice in wrestling. Something about the crowd, all of that, all of the adrenaline from the crowd makes you be able to do things that you wouldn't be just practicing. So when I try that flip in front of people, I did it, and I'd only practice it 3 or 4 times, and looked good, and I'd do it a few more times, and I fell on my face once and quit doing it. But in fact, when I wore that cape, I stepped on it and flipped myself in the ring. But we were down there at WWE for their WrestleMania, and they have a ring set up, and so I said, Ross, check out this way I used to do this entrance I do to get in the ring, and he said, oh, let me show you, Dad. And I'd never even tried it before, and he did it. And that's just how he is. He's really agile and he's got great leg strength. They both do, and I'm just expecting huge things from him. And I think that really that the whole Von Erich thing is going to start over again with these 2, because they have more going for them than we did. They're dedicated athletes, and they completely are devoted to doing the right thing, to doing their best, and honoring God in everything they do. And it comes through because they've got a work ethic that guarantee you no man can match.
You know, with that, and natural-born athletes were just embedded in the Von Erich family for sure. And I know with you, as you're with your boys, I know you're definitely a proud papa.
Well, I am, and I don't mean to be such a bragger, but
no, please, your boys. Do all you have to.
Well, the truth to it is, you've got to be born with ability, but that's really only half of it. There are a lot of people who are born with ability, but then it's being able to take that metal that you're born with and hammer it and heat it red hot and temper it and work on it and sharpen it until one day you've really got something. And so it takes both. You've got to be born with the ability, but then you've got to have that work ethic to sharpen that metal, to turn that steel into something that's useful, and I'm proud to see that from those two boys.
Going into my next question, before I do that, I did want to mention that you have a fan that says to say hello. Her name is Claudia. She does follow your Facebook page. And my question I was going to ask you was was about your trips to Israel. How did that come about, and what made you decide to go to Israel? And just a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
First let me say hello to Claudia. She is a sweet thing with a heart of gold, and I've been able to get to know her on Twitter, and she is. I'm happy to say hello to her. But as far as Israel is concerned, I was watching the news one time and saw a bunch of kids throwing rocks at the Israelis, the tanks, on CNN or something, and I saw 2 or 3 of them wearing Von Erich T-shirts and throwing rocks at the police, and there were other people in the shop that had Von Erich T-shirts on. And about that time, Tom Landry for the Cowboys came home, and he and his wife Alicia had just been to Israel and told my dad, Fritz, everywhere you go, they are playing world-class wrestling, and they've got your boys' matches taped, and everyone eats outside there, eating what I call it al fresco, I guess it is, outdoors, and everyone has a TV outdoors. And when wrestling is on, and I promise you, Pat Robertson said this on the 700 Club, and it's been, and Benjamin Netanyahu and Shimon Peres told me this. I met President Herzog in '84, told me that when wrestling on is the only time they can depend on a ceasefire over there. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
You should look it up, because that's bragging stuff, but
absolutely.
I promise that's what I heard, and so I'm telling you.
That is awesome. And Austin, did you have another question? Go ahead, fire away.
I was going to say that when you talk about fan base, the Von Erichs had a huge fan base. I mean, when you guys came down to the ring, the girls were all over you, and it was phenomenal. What do you think attracted everybody to like the Von Erichs?
Well, I'd say for one thing, I could tell that, and I didn't think it was really, I thought, I don't really like this sexy image. I'd rather be more like a Big Brother type image, or and rather than like this sexy thing. I'm a man, I'm not a woman. Don't tell me I'm pretty and stuff like that. That's disgusting. What a handsome man is like fits on a boar hog, useless. And so I just never did find anything. And I thought the best thing is to be like everyone's big brother or their oldest son, or be that way rather than a sexy kind of deal. Now, Kerry would come out and shake his butt, and the people would really get into that. And I thought we all kind of did a little, because it's entertainment, and it's making the crowd make the noise is what it's all about. Have a good time, and so I got to where I wasn't that worried about it, because that was just the way it was. But it was natural. I mean, it's hard to. The people had seen us grow up as little kids and loved us, and gosh, how can you not love somebody that loves you? And so it was mutual.
Yeah.
Like on these 2 websites, the VonErich.com and the other, Kevin Von Erich, you can only have 5,000 friends, and so confirm, because how can you say, the way the computer comes, it says, so-and-so wants to be friends with you, and it's like, you can say, no, I don't want to be friends with you. What a hell of a thing to say. There's no way I'm going to turn anybody down. If somebody wants to be my friend, then heck yeah, I'm going to be their friend. That's a hurtful. I would never want to hurt somebody's feelings. It was, and all my brothers were like that. We didn't really like the big shot at a celebrity thing. We wanted to be approachable and real.
Understood.
We wanted to take the time to go ahead and rough up little kids' hair and talk to them if you can. As long as you're making an effort to try to sign all of them, then you're not, just pushing your way to your car. Sorry, everybody, like a big shot. Take the time. It's not so hard. It's not going to kill you, and it means the world to these little kids. You can be rude one time, and they'll tell 100 people. But if you're friendly to a little kid, they might tell 2 or 3 of their friends. It just pays off to do the right thing. Yep. It's just right.
And that's why everybody.
And
that was the result of everybody loving you guys. You guys took time for them. They took time for you.
They did.
Absolutely. I got another question here for you from Nikki Luttrell on Facebook. She says, Mr. Von Erich, what would a typical day with you be like? How would you start your day each day?
Would that be nowadays?
Yeah.
Nowadays? Like today?
It's from Nikki Luttrell.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay, today I raise fruit. We have 33 different kinds of fruit out here. And so
nice.
There's a lot of work goes into that. And I trim my trees, and so I grow fruit, and then I spear fish. And I just love that. I'm not, I haven't speared any big 200 or 300 pound tuna like some people have, but I have speared. I speared a good Ono and a good amberjack, but and then we raise ducks and geese and chickens, and so we trade with our neighbors, so we're always eating healthy, and so we barter here, and I'm really glad with that. I think you could probably it works better because it's on a tiny island, but it's a great way to eat healthy, and we all, by everyone helping out like that, it's just great. So that's what I do. I just keep that machine going. My goal is to not pay anyone. We have solar panels, so I produce my own electricity, and digging a well, so we don't even have to have a water bill. That's my goal. One day is to be completely independent and off the grid. So that's what That's what I spend my days doing, is working towards that.
Wish my family
now that's peace and tranquility for sure.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Go ahead.
I get up daybreak, and I like to watch the sun come up, and I try to have all this computer stuff done by 9 o'clock in the morning, because I'm not going to spend my days sitting behind a computer. It's just had a lot of injuries, and to sit in one position is pretty painful too,
Definitely can imagine that.
Yeah.
Did you have a question, Austin? Go for it.
I was saying I wish my family thought exactly how you're thinking with the solar panels and stuff. I mean, if you can get all energy-wise with the earth, and not try to pay a dime, that's the way to go. Just how you do it. How do you get that done? That's the question.
Yeah, it is so important. And then you got to remember here in Hawaii has the highest electricity in the country, and Kauai has the highest electricity in Hawaii. And so, that's expensive. And so by generating power, what we don't use, we sold back to the electric company for 11 cents a unit.
Oh, nice.
And so it's kind of the property. I'm actually looking at selling this place because we found a spot where I have a lot of kids. I've got Kristen, Jill, Ross, Marsh. We all live here, and we all farm. We all have this place going, but we're looking at a 27-acre spot where each of the kids have got a home around the property, and we're going to just put solar panels on the whole side of a hill. It's 27 acres, so we'll just cover a hill with solar panels, and all of the kids' electricity will be. It's just perfect for us because we're a family that we are really close. I mean, I came from a family that was close. My brothers and and I really loved each other. And I mean, I thought everyone was like that, and it turns out we even loved each other more than most people do. I could tell when I got to North Texas. Other guys that had their brothers and all didn't see things the way we did, and that's just the way it was. We're always really close, but out here we're even closer. I hate to sound crass, but the truth to it is, people want to feel sorry for me because I lost my brothers. But the truth is, if you think about it like this, what a beautiful life they lived. How much they got to see going to Japan 30 times in their lifetime. I've been 60, but I mean, doing all this kind of traveling, it's hard to think they were shorted. I mean, yeah, they died young, but all of us have 100 years, and that no one's going to get out of this thing alive. We're all going to die, and my brothers lived a really full life, and I'm sorry that it was short. I wish it wasn't that way, but it was, and I can only be thankful for the times that we did have that were so good, rather than feel sorry for myself for the times because they may have been taken too soon for me. I should be grateful and take the good with the bad.
So you guys had
I think that's what the fans definitely appreciate about you, and definitely respect your views on that. And I think that's why the Von Erich name is still so big, and the fans continue to just follow you and love you guys no matter what. All through the years, even back to when you were still wrestling, all these years, they're still with you, and that's a testament to
Felix,
Von Erich name in general.
I feel that too. I just love him for it.
Absolutely. I do have another question from Facebook. It is Matt. He said, working with the Freebirds as much as you guys have, I mean, what was it like? I mean, was it something that you enjoyed doing? Was it something you didn't really care for? Or do you think the feud went as far as it could go? In general, what was it like working with the Freebirds during your heyday?
I loved working with all of those guys. Michael maybe didn't have the balance or the explosiveness that Terry did. Terry was a great athlete, but he can also talk on the mic, and Michael was great on the mic. He wasn't the athlete Terry was, but he made up for it in that microphone. And then Buddy could take anything. I mean, you could beat him to death. He's like a crash test dummy. He just keeps coming back, and so it was. I could have a good match with any of those guys, but the same would be true for Gino Hernandez, for Chris Adams, for Kabuki, Dragon, Bruiser Brody, Big John Studd. Oh man, I wrestle with some really good men, and I don't mean to slight Ric Flair or Harley Race. These guys were great champions, and great wrestlers too. I mean, I was lucky to be able to work with such talent, and it gave me a perspective, a look on the business to see, in order to be successful. I'd seen how these people did it, and this guy did it, and it just opened it up for me. My work was cut out for me. I could see what I had to do. Absolutely.
And wanted to touch on some upcoming projects that we've heard that you will be going through. Yeah, something about a new movie that you guys are working on.
Yeah, going to be directed by Michael Givens, a talented guy. Got some good writers. We plan on just trying. This is a story, Felix, that it just has to be told, and I've been kind of not procrastinating about it to really, but it's so much. My brothers are gone. They spent their lives doing this, and I owe them for this to come out right. And so I've been apprehensive to get into it because I don't want it to come out like Hollywood wants to tell the story that Big Mean Fritz beat up his sons and made them wrestle, and that's just not true. I can't go with that story. I want to maintain the integrity of the story, and so I think with Lisa and with hard work, we'll be able to get the story put out there, because I'm telling you, truth is definitely stranger than fiction. The Von Erich story is, I can see it being inspirational, and I can see it being a drama, and I can also see it being a love story between my beautiful wife and I. She stuck by me, and we've been married 34 years now, and I just...
Congratulations on that.
I can just tell you, nature does work. I know that we change. Seems like every president that comes along, it's change. I don't think we've ever had 4 years that we didn't change, but I'll tell you from experience that nature works with Father. I hate the way there's so many divorces, so many kids have to eat daycare, and then the public school system, where they're not going to teach the kids right from wrong. They're really dead set against that. They feel like that's not their job, and no one's doing it. You look at our kids; they don't know anything except maybe some civil rights. The schools they're so liberal. It's just I don't know why, but it seems like what do you learn in high school nowadays and college? I mean, even at North Texas, it was liberal all day long. Stuff. I don't want to make any enemies here, but I'm just telling you that nature does work. We shouldn't be so quick to throw out the past, because there are a lot of good things in the past, and it's hard for me to look back on the 60s and 70s and call those the dark ages, when TV shows like Bonanza and Marshall Dillon, Gunsmoke, they were good guys versus the bad guy, and people wanted to see that. There's something in the fan and good people that want to see the good overcome bad, and I think it's kind of drifting away from that. It's almost like just two bad guys fighting each other, It's almost changed in a way. I think I'd like to see it go back a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of led into my next question, which would have been the fact that we also heard that you were looking to have a book done about your life, about the life of the Von Erichs. Is that something we can look forward to seeing maybe in the next couple of years, possibly, or actually sooner than that?
Yeah, sooner than that. Got the book done. It's just getting chronological order, and putting everything down the way it should be down.
Absolutely.
But that's going to be a breeze. It'll be done in no time. Just to put it on paper is all I've got to do now.
That's the thing too with a lot of the wrestlers that write their books. Unfortunately, they have to do it under the company's eye and can't really give the whole truth. Whereas I've seen others, like I'll give an example, like Bob Holly, who is no longer part of wrestling. He's not wrestling for the WWE anymore, but he wrote a book and basically dished everything of his life backstage, what life was really like, and he wasn't doing it under the watchful eye of the company, and was able to tell his story. And I think that's what is definitely needed for the Von Erichs. You tell it like it was, and not have to worry about anybody coming in and saying, no, you can't say that. Well, this is your book about your life, about your family. You can say what you please.
Yeah, you're right. And social media has really helped that too, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes, it has.
And
go ahead. I'm sorry. It's going to be great. I only see good things in the future. I really do. I think it's just going to. Folks, I want to tell out there. I know that I am so grateful to have such loyal fans, and I don't mean just in Dallas. I'm talking about the kind of things you guys say on the internet. I'm so appreciative of it. I just wish I give each one of you guys a hug. I mean it. Dang it! So I'm going to do a chat room where you get on there and talk, and I hope this kind of makes it a little better, because I just hate the fact that people want to be a friend and I can't hit the confirm thing because it says that I filled it up or something, and so we want to fix that somehow. We'll do this chat room and we'll get it worked out. I just can't stand the fact that somebody, likes me and says such nice things, and I can't, respond back. It's too one-sided. The fans, without their support, I wouldn't be Hall of Fame or anything like that. It was, memories. It was too long ago, but I'm so grateful they still remember me.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I was going to mention that a lot of the wrestlers today, either they create the fan page, which has been created for you, or they create a secondary Facebook page after they've reached their limit, and that's a lot of them have trouble, adding more and more friends. They can only go to 5,000, and in most cases, it's just better just to create a fan page and just be interactive, because you can get as many as many people to like the page and interact with them as much as possible. That is a good thing about Facebook. Twitter, I don't think there's a limit on Twitter. I think people have already gone into millions.
Well, I bet you're right. The thing is that I just use a computer to watch the weather. I raise cattle in Texas and did not see any other use for that computer. And I've never liked them. It just was sitting in that one position is, hard on me. For one thing, I just don't like that. It's wasting time behind a TV. We unplugged our TV for a year here, and we never had a better year, I'll tell you the truth. It was great. But just completely... With Paradise
that you have out there, I think I probably would have done the same thing, too.
I'm telling you, Felix, it was a great thing that we did. We went to bed when it got dark. We woke up when the sun came up, and it's a whole different world. We only watch football and some now, and wrestling. I shouldn't say I don't watch wrestling, but I'm just not a big TV fan. It does waste a lot of time, and life is too short. I say to all you guys, from what I learned from losing what I lost, make a memory, you guys. The people that you'll love, do something today that you're going to remember. Make a memory today, and the people that you love, have fun today, and have fun every minute. Remember, life isn't day by day, it's minute by minute, and so enjoy it, because life is so short and it ain't coming back.
Very true, very well said. Mr. Von Erich, I want to ask you, why... The people you were mentioning, Japan, with Ross and Marshall, why do you feel that they still respect the actual sport of it and not necessarily look at it as sports entertainment like it's basically here in the States? And do you think that maybe that it could ever go back to actually being looked at as actual wrestling, or is it doomed to stay as sports entertainment?
Oh my gosh! If you watched it, yeah, if you'll there's where America went, one direction. They went the opposite. They come practical. It's really, it's so close to that MMA stuff, that it's just that. We have some great athletes in our business, and I don't. It's just a different style of wrestling. But I'll tell you that I don't want to, say one's any better than the other. I just want to say, for as far as the boys starting out, this is a great way for them. This is a perfect thing to have in your back pocket to be comfortable in any situation. And so, but there is a heck of a lot they have to learn, and so I don't know, what they'll do, what door we'll go through, what door they'll go through, because I'm not going to live their life for them. I'm not going to tell them what to do. This is going to be their call, and of
course,
yeah, and so we'll just go through the open doors and go around the closed ones. We're just that's where we're looking at it, and only good things are in the way for us, because we love God, and that's the way it works.
That's cool. That's definitely a good way to look at it. And I want to pose this question to both you, Mr. Von Erich, and Lisa. We do have 2 calls on hold. Do you feel like taking a couple of calls from fans, if that's okay? If not, it's perfectly fine. Do you mind, Lisa? Okay.
No.
From area code 210, you are now on the air with Mr. Kevin Von Erich. Did you have a question for him? Hello? Area code 210.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes.
Yes. Area code 210.
487?
You're speaking to Mr. Von Erich. Did you have a question for him?
Really? I'm there. Oh, goodness. I was just listening to your conversation. Oh, wow.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
So
Okay.
area code 210, is that Texas or is that Florida, California?
That's Texas, yes.
210.
I'm not sure, Kevin.
San Antonio?
Hello?
Are you in San
yeah.
Antonio?
That's, I think, in Plano, Texas, I think. Well, we'll try area code 817. You are on the air with Mr. Kevin Von Erich. Did you have a question for him?
Yeah. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I grew up watching y'all, and, y'all was my hero back in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. I met you one time when you lived in Roanoke. You were on your roof clearing out your gutter, and I shook hands with you, and you gave me a picture of you autographed.
Well, I missed that. What'd you say right before that? Something? So I was rude to you?
No, he said you were cleaning out the gutters on your roof, Kevin.
Oh, yeah, okay.
When you lived in Roanoke, and you come down off the roof and shook hands with me and gave me an autographed picture of you. That was back in the late 80s.
That's awesome.
Oh, I'm glad, buddy. So you came out to the place when I lived on Ottinger Road out there then?
Yeah, I had family that lived about 4 or 5 houses down from you. Because there was the 3 houses. There was the 3 houses, yours, Carrie, and the other house, I don't know who was going to live in it at one time.
Yeah, that was an airplane pilot friend of ours, yeah. Yeah, Carrie and I lived one house away from each other, and we had an airplane pilot in between us, yeah. That was out there in Ottinger, yeah. Good time out there in Roanoke and Keller and that area. Good people. It's growing so fast, too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I haven't been out there in years, but like I said, I grew up with your dad and y'all guys, and then, everybody, that when I was growing up, everybody wanted to be a Von Erich. Everybody wanted to learn the claw. So,
and what was your name again?
Jesse.
Jesse,
I was the same way. When I was a little boy and watched my dad on TV, we turned our underwear inside out and we wrestled too. That's how little boys are. And then Fritz being our dad made it even more. I think all little boys want to be like their dad. That's the way we were.
And it broke my heart, like the night when we found, they told us about David. I was like, because we had just seen him. Me and a buddy of mine, we just seen y'all like a week or two before at the Will Rogers. Man,
I love Texas. Dang it, the Texas legislature convened 3 minutes when Dave died, and they let the schools out, they let the kids out of schools, and the highways, they shut the highway down it was just, I've never seen such an outpouring of love like that. I was really touched by the way they did there, and it was a terrible time. I mean, it was like surreal to me, like the whole day went in slow motion, but, and I'll tell you, that was the worst one to me, was Dave. After that, it was kind of like this again, but, don't get sad. Let's remember that, even though Dave lived 25 years, look at the way he's looked at now. People consider him like one of the best ever. And he was, and lived a good life. He was, I don't want to be sad. I want to stay away from that. But before Dave left for Japan that day, he was sitting at the table with my mother, and he was having some pork chops, and I was in the bathroom, and I came out, and I saw Dave, and his face was all white. He'd had diarrhea for like 3 or 4 months, and he'd used the bathroom, and he said, "Hey, take a picture. I don't have diarrhea." We were making a big joke about it. I'm guarding my words here, but we made a big deal about it because, Dave, he had diarrhea all those months, and here he's going to Japan tomorrow, and I looked at him, and he was so pale. He did not look healthy at all, and so I thought to myself, maybe by saying it, then it won't happen. And I walked up to Dave. I never did this before. And I said, "Dave, don't you go over there and die now, okay?" And I hugged Dave and kissed him on the cheek. Never did that before in my life. But I thought by saying it, maybe it wouldn't happen, because I'm telling you that Dave didn't look right. And we were all trying to talk him out of that, but you couldn't talk Dave out of anything like that. And so then I got that phone call, and the first thing I said, is Dave dead? And she was crying, and she said, yes, he is. And I just had to hang the phone up. It was like, by saying it, it'd be too big of a coincidence. It couldn't happen, And that was that's the way it worked out. And he was just, if he would have been examined, it would have meant that, they have to, violate, and Dave was not in for that at all. In fact, he went to the doctors. We talked him into it, but then they got him to get naked and lean against this little table, and the doc hits a switch, and Dave was in a really vulnerable position, and went furious. He told him, I'm going to tear this place down. If you don't get me out, turn this thing off, or I'm going to start tearing stuff up. And the doc, knew he was serious, and we all laughed about it. But if they would have examined Dave, I think they would have found that thing bleeding in there and stopped it.
Yeah. Well, just let you know that the Von Erichs will always be my hero to the day I'm no longer part of this service. And I appreciate you taking my call. And, like I said, y'all always be my hero. Every time I see or hear the Von Erichs, I think back to when I was a kid. So I do appreciate your call.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
Thank you for calling in, Jess.
See you, Jeff.
Later, Kev.
Okay, buddy.
All right, that was nice.
I
do actually want to pose a question to you, Mr. Von Erich. If the opportunity presented itself in this new technologic era that we're in, you see guys like Steve Austin, who's got his podcast. Would that ever be something that you would actually do or consider doing in the near future? I mean, I know you said you don't really care to sit in front of a computer or anything to that extent, but I mean, if you do like an hour show or something like that, where you just sit there and tell some stories or talk about projects you got going or something, because I mean that's basically what he does. Steve basically makes it his own little shindig there, brings on some of his friends, and talks with some retired stars or current stars or whatever. And other times he just talks, just having fun. People just like hearing him talk. And I think that definitely the same thing could be said exactly about you, because as by key here by Jesse calling in, people still look to the Von Erichs as their childhood heroes, and even heroes as an adult today. And I think that would be something the fans would definitely get a kick out of.
Well, I learned a long time ago, don't say always or never. I would, I'll go through the open doors and go around the closed ones. I want people to see my sons. I'm so impressed, and I know it's not just because I'm their dad. So I want them to have the opportunity that my brothers and I had. I know they will too, and I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know it will. So I would definitely be in for something like that. I wouldn't be against that at all if it was something that I understood what they're talking about, and it sounded good to me. Yeah, I'm not going to say I would say no to that. I'll listen to anything.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. And I have one last question here from Matt. He says, would you, Mr. Von Erich, ever go to, or did you ever, have you ever gone to Shreveport, Louisiana for Mid-South Wrestling? Did you ever wrestle for Mid-South, I guess is the question.
Oh, maybe about 1,000 times.
I guess that's a yes. It's a big-time yes.
Yeah. I have. Let me tell you, Steve, I mean, Felix, I know you're recording. And so if you come up with anything that you want to ask to kind of, you want me to answer something in a full sentence or reword something, just Lisa will tell you how to get in touch with me, and just call me and we'll get this thing right so you can put it on the air and be happy with it.
Sure, absolutely. In closing, I'm going to ask Austin, did you have any final questions for Mr. Von Erich today?
I was going to say that there's a quote that I really love that it says, why live a life if you don't at least do something remarkable? And you've definitely done something, remarkable, with your life. I mean, it's really inspiring. I want to thank you so much for all you've done.
Well, thank you, buddy. And I'm glad you said that. It reminded me. Just think of this. If it wasn't for hardships and for all the wheels to come off and disaster and terrible things like that, how could there be words like victory or achievement or success? I mean, without hardship, there's no need for words like that. And so when hardship comes your way, just realize this is my opportunity to shine and just do your best, because we only have 100 years here on Earth, 120 if you're lucky, and we're all going to be dead one day. It's going to be over for all of us, but I guarantee you we're going to stand together again one day. This is not over. Spirit, and I'm talking about as far as my spirit is concerned, and so we'll, I'm just going to say that I kind of lost my place there. I forgot where I was going with that. That happens a lot. My concussions, I suppose.
Well, you guys have a legacy that's going to live on forever, so I know.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I was just going to tell you about achievement and those kind of things are like, we had some obstacles and some real challenges, but that's what, if it weren't for that, then I couldn't have overcome anything, and so it's kind of hard to be to call them
awesome.
Whatever a curse or whatever, because it's not. It's a good opportunity.
Absolutely. No doubt.
I'm sure your life is the same
always
way. It'll be a challenge coming up to you in the next hour. Just be ready and do your best, Not that I'm perfect or any great or anything. I'm just telling you that challenges are going to come up, and just keep in mind that doing the right thing is very, very important. It's just got to be.
Definitely. Well, in this case, I do want to kind of pose a question over to Lisa. If fans want to keep up with all the happenings with Mr. Von Erich, can we go ahead and plug his social media?
Yes, of course. Kevin was, talking about his personal page and how it only allows 5,000 people. It does only allow 5,000 friends, but however, those, anyone that's left over when it goes over that amount, they are allowed to follow him, and they can also interact, as far as leaving comments. And I had to create Kevin's personal page, for verification purposes. But Kevin also does have his like page, which is also Kevin Von Erich. I'm sorry?
I said I'm glad you said that, because, see, when I'm doing Twitter, I can do that with my cell phone. I don't have to sit there and look at a computer screen. I can be, standing up or walking even, and so there's a good chance I can, a better chance I can respond on Twitter than the Facebook I'm afraid,
Well, yeah, I mean, you can walk and type on your phone with Facebook as well. That kind of reminds me, Kevin's brother Kerry. It seemed like every time I was at a match, I had some sort of injury from softball, and he would say, can you walk and chew gum at the same time? So he literally would say that. Or, since I have blonde hair, he's like, you really are blonde, aren't you? And I was like, But, Kevin is getting used to it. Like I said, there is also a like page for Kevin, which is linked to his personal page. And, of course, we have the movie page as well, which is also linked to Kevin's personal page.
Good doing that, Lisa. Good job.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Lisa's awesome. She definitely keeps on top of her business and helping out the fans to find out what's going on in the life of Mr. Von Erich. And kudos to that, Lisa. Good job.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Kevin.
I'm so grateful to have such fans, and I don't want to feel ignored. And so you made it where I can respond to them, and so I appreciate that.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Also, Kevin was talking about, the live chat, and we actually created that yesterday. It's actually an event on Facebook. So, I mean, they don't even. This is actually going to go out to people who may not even be a member of the Von Erich the movie page or Kevin's like page or Kevin's personal page. I mean, because everybody's spreading the word. So basically, this is for anyone that is on Facebook, and they can join Kevin on Tuesday. That'll be 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And so that's going to allow Kevin to actually chat with his friends,
awesome.
or his fans, so to say. So
yeah,
that's going to be
I think
great.
That'll be very exciting.
So, very, yes.
Absolutely.
I'm really getting Kevin used to today's technology.
Lisa, wait a minute now. Hey, hit the stop just a second, okay? I need to talk to y'all business-wise. I talked to the ESPN folks, and they asked me to not say anything about ESPN until they announce it. And so
I didn't say anything about ESPN.
Have we not said anything? Maybe I don't want to screw that up.
No. Yeah.
No, it's perfectly fine. We respect
delete that.
Yeah, we're going to shoot
as
it
far
the 13th,
as that goes,
15th, and so I'll let you know.
Oh no, you mentioned it earlier about the boys. So.
Yeah. Okay.
But
well,
that has not been mentioned, and that event hasn't even taken place. I was talking about the chat, which is next Tuesday.
Oh, good. Okay.
But
well,
there is one thing I would like to say that Kevin had mentioned. You know, he said that he didn't want anyone to feel sorry for him. But
of course,
me being but me being a fan and when I first started going to their matches, I was very young and used to go with my dad. I never once. I mean, I was saddened by the tragedy, but I never once felt sorry for Kevin. As a matter of fact, what I saw in Kevin was I was just overwhelmed at how strong he was.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying, he probably didn't go on the house, and close himself in a room, and break down, but he is probably one of the strongest men I've ever met. So, or talked to you.
Well, I'll tell y'all, this strength is asleep in every one of us. I didn't have a choice in the matter. I mean, it was like I have children, I have a wife and kids, and even though you may feel devastated, then life goes on, and so you just have to. It's pretty much when you have no other choice, it makes it a little easier, I guess.
Well, with the family support and your, like you said, you have your wife and your children who are definitely there for you, and your fan base that love you unconditionally. It helps, and without a doubt, I have to agree 100% with Lisa. That is a quality in a hero that they consider you their hero. It's a great quality in a human being to have, and I think that's why your fans have stuck with you all these years. They admire the man you are, the strength you had to go through a lot of the issues that you went through with your brothers and your father, and just life in general, stuff in life that happens all the time. And I don't think they feel sorry for you. I think at this point they respect your strength, they respect your outlook on life, and the fact that you're happy, you're content in your life. And definitely looking to the next generation with your boys.
That makes me feel good. Thank you, Felix. Appreciate that, and just God bless all of you folks out there. I mean, I appreciate it so much. Just not forget me, and keep in mind my sons will be out soon, and get a hold of this. You're gonna. I think you're really gonna like them. They're just. They look so much like.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Yeah.
I think it's because I'm in here in Hawaii that there's a little bit of a pause, and I've been talking over y'all a few times. I'm sorry about that.
Oh no, but Kevin is talking about his sons.
Yeah.
But actually, his sons, both Ross and Marshall, also have a fan page on Facebook as well, and it's Ross and Marshall Von Erich. So.
That's right.
And that's actually a fan page out of Japan, and they pretty much, keep everybody updated on, on their matches that are going on right now. So.
Yeah, there's a Japanese fan club, Von Erich 3G, and then there's the. And I don't really know what that's called. Anyway, they've got a good fan base in Japan, and so they are really good about sending pictures and videos and all, and that's what I put up on Twitter. It just show you guys. And they're having their best tour. Well, that's the best match they had yet last night, from what I'm hearing. And so they're getting better and better. I just can't wait to see it.
You know, that's something that we want to think about maybe in the future when it's possible after they're touring, that maybe we could actually invite them to come join us on the show in maybe sometime next year or in the next couple of months or what have you when they're available. We would love to bring them on and talk with them.
Well, good. They'll be home in 10
sure
days.
They love that.
Absolutely. And
did you say they'd be home in 10 days?
Yeah, they'll be home in 10 days. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely be in touch with Lisa. Maybe we can work something out on bringing them on in the near future.
Sure.
Sounds great.
All right. On behalf of Austin and myself, Lisa, and Mr. Von Erich, we want to thank you guys for spending the time with us that you guys have been and sharing some great memories. And no doubt the Von Erich clan, the Von Erich fan base will never die. They will always remember the good times and cherish those moments for the rest of their lives. Thank you all for what you've done to entertain us, the fans, all those years, and what you continue to do now and supporting your boys. We definitely appreciate that. We have most respect for that.
I'd like to say to the fans, too, you guys remember, we've got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. Make a good memory. Love your family, and remember, life doesn't last forever, so make the most of each moment, and I'll be good with that.
What's respect, Mr. Von Erich?
I would like to say one thing. Today is actually Pam's birthday, Kevin's wife.
Oh,
yes.
So,
really?
Yeah,
happy birthday,
so I'm going to wish her a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Miss Pam.
Yeah, it's Pam's birthday, and earn it. but
Oh, no. Did you suddenly remember something?
No. Yeah, I did, darn it. I am in trouble now, but I'll get something. Oh, heck.
Uh-oh.
Oh, on my radio. Oh, it's not live anyway, but whoops.
That's okay. I'm sure you guys are going to have a great day.
Yeah, we will. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna make her we harvested some avocados the other day, and I'm gonna make lunch for her. But I'll scoop out an avocado and fill it with crab meat, squeeze lemons on it, and maybe some bananas. I'll surprise her with a lunch in bed. Maybe that'll be good.
Nice.
Yeah, something like that.
That's sweet. Uh-oh. Sorry.
That's the strength that keeps them married 34 years. I have to say, Mr. Von Erich, that's an honorable thing to be married as long as you have been. That, like you said, we were saying earlier, not many people are together that long anymore, and it's a shame because you think marriage is something that would be for the rest of your life, and so on. But that's something I have to say. I have the most respect for you and being married as long as you have. It's no easy task being married, but you definitely been doing it for a long time, and I think you're definitely happy in your life now. And we wish you and your wife continued happiness and as well as much success for your sons. The next generation of the Von Erichs are going to be outstanding, no doubt.
Well, thanks so much. I sure appreciate it, and to all of you, have a great Thanksgiving and a happy Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys down the road. It was I had a good time, Felix. Thank you.
I did too, as well, sir. Thank you again, and you guys have a great day. Thank you, Lisa, and I'll be talking to you again soon.
Thank you, Mr. Von Erich.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you,
all right,
Felix
bye-bye.
and Austin.
Stay on the line, Lisa.
Yeah, I'll call you back.
Okay. See you
Thanks,
later.
guys.
Take care,
Felix.
guys.
Okay.
All right.